Good morning and welcome to lovely Silkeborg, Denmark. We're here in the middle of the Jutlandic Peninsula, located on the banks of the Gudnål River. Silkeborg is famous for being a spa town since the 19th century. But we are inside the Silkeborg Sports Center as we are past the halfway point of the round robin. Some of these teams will need to hit the spa after a couple more games. But we're inside for the LGT World Women's Curling Championship 2019 and our feature game this morning. In session 12, Denmark taking on Japan. I'm Luke Coley, joined with Hans Frauenlob. It is a pleasure to be here this morning, and important games all out on the ice, and for Japan still in the thick of things as we enter True Moving Day. Let's meet the two teams here in our feature matchup. For Denmark, their lead, Lena Knudsen. Their second, Julie Hug. Third, Denise Dupont. And then the skip of the home country, Madeline Dupont. They'll take on Japan with their lead, Hasumi Ishiguka. Their second and skip, Seina Nakajima. Third, Chiaki Matsumura. And their fourth stone thrower, Ikua Kitazawa. Let's look at the standings coming into a Wednesday at the Women's Championship. China, Russia top at 6-1, followed closely by Korea and Sweden at 5-1. Then Scotland right behind at 4-2. Germany, Japan, and Switzerland all at 3-3. Then the US and Canada at 3-4. Latvia 1-6, while Denmark at 0-6 and Finland 0-7, looking for their first win of the World Championship. We have a full slate of games here as we are entering session 12. We're on sheet A. Denmark looking for win number 1 in our feature game against Japan. Sheet B, Germany taking on Korea. Sheet C is Scotland taking on Switzerland. And a battle of one-loss teams over on sheet D, Sweden taking on Russia. Should be an exciting morning here from the Silkeborg Sports Center. It's been a great venue. It's a nice small arena, good size, good ice surface. As Hans, what do you expect from the teams this morning?
Well, it's a big game for Japan in particular, Luke, and they're sitting at 3-3. A win today would keep them in the playoff frame. Denmark, the home team, looking for their first win, and you'd expect that they'd probably be playing pretty loose. They're probably not feeling too much pressure, but they do want to get a W on the board, so I expect both teams to really go after it this morning.
Well, we've seen a fair bit of this Japanese squad. They're a very fun, very inexperienced team. And on the other side, we have Denmark, who's backhand of both are playing in their 11th World Championship. Two polar opposites, but Japan, the better record right now. Playing a little fearless.
Yeah.
Got nothing to lose.
It's a Japanese women's team that on the world curling stage is pretty new to the international scene, but they defeated Satsuki Fujisawa in the All Japan Championships, and everybody in the curling world knows what that Japanese team is, Olympic bronze medalist, so they can play, absolutely. And a morning off school. It's a good day in Denmark. But yeah, they're playing confidently, and they're playing very well.
We'll keep you up to date on all the games. A lot of teams trying to position themselves in the playoffs. You saw the 13-team standings. Top 6 will go to the playoffs. 1 and 2 get a bye straight to the semi, and then 2 qualifying games to determine the final 4. Obviously, everyone trying to become that world champion at the end of the week. Raise that trophy here in Denmark. Host country Denmark really needs to win out to have a chance.
Absolutely, Luke. I think you're right. You always do the math in the 12-game round robin. You think, okay, top 6, what's it going to take? And last year in North Bay, 6-6 got you into the hunt, and so Denmark will definitely have to win out from here. Japan has the better last stone draw, so they've got last rock advantage in the first.
And Denmark will have the red stones. They wear their red dark tops, while the white tops. Throwing the yellow stones is Japan. Lena Knudsen in her 3rd World Championship will start this match off.
Ice conditions this week have been really good. Pretty pacey, pretty consistent. Lots of curl, just what the athletes like. had a lot of rain early in the week. It's subsided, not quite the sunshine that we would love to see, but the rain has backed off a bit, so humidity is not a real problem in the arena.
Asumi Ishiguka lead will play the hit with that first stone sliding into the rings. It stays out of the rings, so it's in that free guard zone area. And that's also been a difference this season. This World Championship is the 5-rock free guard zone rule.
Lena Knudsen, Danish lead. Yep, 5-rock free guard zone. That means if you're brand new to the sport, the stone's between the rings and the hog line, that's the black line that the stone's just gone over. You can't remove your opponent's stones. And for the team with last rock, that means if you want to attack, you can throw 2 guards and have a pretty good confidence level that they're going to be there when you want to go and attack. So more offense and more interesting for us.
And lots more to talk about. Seen different strategies from different teams, all trying to learn the different dynamics that it takes. We're going to see the hit, try and roll to the side. Early on, session 12, so we have passed that halfway point. Just a young Japanese team, very inexperienced at the world level, even internationally. No Pacific Championship, juniors, university. You look at some, you look at the bios, and Madeline and Denise DuPont, you almost need 2 pages to include them all. As we look at the rules of play, 6 ends minimum, 38 minutes of thinking time given to each team to start the match, 1 60-second timeout. Julie Hoog, 19-year-old.
Part of the new generational wave of Danish curlers. As you said, Luke, Madeline and Denise have been representing Denmark for years and years, but Julie only 19, getting some great experience here.
Seina Nakajima does skip this team, but throws the second stones.
This Japanese team from Karizawa. It's about a 1-hour Shinkansen ride north from Tokyo. This is the site of the 1998 Winter Olympic curling event. First time that curling was back on the program as a full medal sport at the Olympics, and that really changed everything in the sport.
Yeah. Turn it upside on its head. Obviously, the training, the building towards every 4 years become a big thing. But a mistake there will touch the guard and actually not remove anything. So a mistake.
Great chance here for Japan now with the hammer in the first to really pile on some heat. But you're right, Luke. The Olympics changed everything. Teams used to think about kind of 1 or 2 year planning cycles. You kind of look at each other at the end of the year and say, well, do we want to play together again next year? Well, now you're thinking in 4-year cycles. Teams are forming and training with the objective of representing their country at the Olympics. Trying to duck around this corner, good looking stone. Pretty nice, hides a corner.
A lying 3, and Madeline DuPont, her team, played, she herself has played in 2 Olympic Winter Games. So look at this one coming in, doesn't quite get protected. I talked about 98. It was Denmark finishing second, winning the silver medal.
That's right.
Elena Block-Laversen.
That's right. Played in the final against the revered Sander Schmerler rink of Canada. There's Denise.
Denise, a part of 3 Olympic Winter Games teams. Played in Torino, Italy as well, along with 2010 and the most recent games in 2018. Quite the feat to play in 1. I know you have, Hans, but to play in 3.
Absolutely. I played in those Torino games that the Danish women team was competing at.
Chiaki Matsumura, third, 26 years of age. She does have experience at a World. She's the lone member of this team that's played at a World Championship.
And Chiaki's having a good week. She's solidly in the middle of the pack at the 3rd stone position in terms of shooting percentages in this field.
Well, Denmark needs to get a little roll. They're going to be giving up a multiple point score.
This is looking a bit scary for Denmark.
And they may not have won a game, but they've been in the majority of the games they've played so far.
Yes, they have. Nose hit there. It's kind of a characteristic of Madeline. When she gets on a roll, it's like she goes into a zone of unconsciousness. She makes everything she sees. And her challenge has always been consistency, but you're right, Luke. They've been competitive this week. Just haven't got the W yet. Quiet wait, looking for a roll, but just nosing it.
Well, at what point does Denmark have to go after try and make a double?
Well, the angles aren't great for them. They'd love to throw a double, but look at the awkward angle there. You slash it across, try to chip it, you're going to lose your shooter. All the angles are bad. But you do definitely shift into damage control mode here. But the angles are so awkward that you still almost have to play the shot rock. Thin double, that's what they're talking about. There's the Danish coaching bench in the background looking on. Ulrik Schmidt.
Altså, din curlede meget. Den var godt nok 29, men jeg synes bare, det var farten.
You can't shout down instructions to the team. Not allowed any interactions until the team calls a timeout, which they have not done. We'll see the weight indication from Julie, telling the sweepers what kind of weight Madeline's going to try on this shot. Does look like they're going to try this thin double, Luke.
Tough to miss this one,
yeah.
Not get either of them.
That's right.
Playing it the other way, it's all or nothing.
Exactly right.
Madeline Dupont, 31 years of age, in her 11th World Championship.
That's amazing.
Trying to catch a sliver of that top one.
Oh, just
it almost catches the back one, too. Very unlucky that they don't clip that back one or get rid of a second Yellowstone.
Yeah, a little shake of the head there from Madeline. She knows that was really close. That curls another millimeter, and she gets the pair. There's Julie saying, come on, curl, come on, curl, come on, curl. Not quite enough.
But nice start here for the Japanese team available. Kitazawa, chance to play her first, draw in behind.
It's the logical call to come around the corner guard, but a little bit of risk there too. If Ikue doesn't make this great, she might give Madeline a bailout shot. You might consider drawing the open side here, but they're going to go around the corner guard. If they make it great, then it does set up the 3.
Work and try and get this one into the rings.
No, they don't want to leave this short, but they have. You know, that's a disaster. Now it's invitation here for Madeline Dupont to either, if she's feeling peppy, drawing around, or lower risk hitting and rolling, but lots of cover to get behind now for Denmark.
Så jeg tror måske, vi skal tage denne her med en 10'er, fordi den køler ikke så meget herover, så det er
Love
måske lidt
that
nemmere at
call.
dirigere.
She would have come up short on the left-hand side. Would have been a
Hvis
lot
vi
less
rammer
useful
lige
for
på,
the
er det ikke
Danes
det
and might have
værste.
covered
Hun kan
her
ikke
own
stå lige på
shot.
igen. Så hun skal rulle et godt stykke, hvis det er, at den står lige på. Jeg tror bare, den er nemmere at dirigere den her vej.
Chance to bail her own team out here.
The option to roll big can roll across to the other one. Here, final shot without the hammer for Madeline Dupont.
Got to hold the line. It's really making a move now.
Well, they get fortunate roll to the other one in behind cover. And it'll just peek out the other side. But in enough of a spot that Japan not really looking at, they're going to draw for their single point.
That's interesting. I'm surprised. Japanese didn't really even take a look at playing a down weight shot. I guess there is some risk if you clip the red, making a play at it. You might give up a steal of 2, but you got a chance to score a 2 as well. Sometimes you really just got to take it. Instead, Japan just saying, oh, well, we'll concede the force. And
looking at it now, that she's in the hat.
I can see a lot more than I thought. Not sure she's going to draw yet. She might hit. Now they're taking a look at the stone. Can't see all of it. But you can see 3/4 of it, and you throw hack weight, positive hack weight. Should be able to hold it, just don't want to graze that front red stone.
Final shot here, this first end. Ikue Kitazawa, the out-turn hit. Well, they got to get past the front. Matsumura, Ishiguka get by. They won't, and they'll chip a Denmark stone in. And it went from a possible 3 in that end to a steal of 2 just like that. What a start for Denmark, but Japan disappointed. They trail 2-0 after 1 end of play.
Det kom vi helt ud af. Ja, det kom vi rimelig godt ud af. Prøv at holde det lidt, altså det er ikke fordi det ikke er åbent. Det er bare fordi at det er, der ligger bare mange af deres.
Ja, det er jo fordi jeg ikke får nogen ud på min der, så kommer
der
også
så ligger der en til.
Ikke?
Det er selvfølgelig rigtigt. Ja, det havde jeg ikke engang tænkt på. Så jeg kunne ikke engang huske, du ved, nogle gange.
Det er der, de får nummer 3. Men den er nok blevet lidt hurtigere, ikke?
Ja, for det er altså sådan noget 14. Jeg fik 14,8.
Ja, så omkring 14,5, ikke?
Ja.
It was not the start that Japan wanted. They had a glorious opportunity in that first end, but it is a steal of 2. A lot of time left. And Japan will retain the hammer here in end number 2, Denmark and Japan. It's session 12.
Yeah, unfortunately for Japan, you do have to hang that one on the 2 stones of Kitazawa, coming up short on the draw on her first one, and I think making not a great shot choice in the first place, and then On the second one, I like the call for going for the pair, but again, the shot mistake tolerance. If you're going to attempt that shot, you want to be positive with the weight. So if you're missing it, you at least clip the shot rock out and you only give up a steal of one and you keep the hammer. Instead, the weight was a little bit quiet and it overcurled. So it'll be a learning experience for Ikuya Kitazawa, and the coaching staff will review that after the game, and they'll improve and they'll learn from that.
Is that a perfect example of just maybe not being at this level or playing that many games as an experienced team?
I think it is, Luke. It's you're playing in an arena at a World Championships. It's not like the ice conditions are massively different than what you train on, but it is subtly different. And it's those subtleties that really do make the difference at this level. So yeah, I do. I think it's just a matter of playing in these conditions and playing as a unit against teams of this quality.
Well, early on, see the center line guard, the corner up in front. Interesting seeing the Broom going through the different options they're looking at. The draw behind, the freeze, the hit, or just the straight come around.
Yeah, they're all valid choices. Denmark stones in the back 8 foot, so you've got a catcher there. Ishiguka. As you said, Luke, they set the first end up really nicely.
Just gets by Kitazawa with a great sweep, just to avoid touching that guard. See if they're able to bring that corner guard into play. There's a reason you put it up. Look over Germany and Korea over on sheet B.
Korea are threatening the top of the table here. Kim Min-ji. They're sitting at 5-1 coming into this game, and a chance here to cash in the deuce. This is another team of young athletes. They're all 19 years old.
Still junior eligible.
Yeah, it's breathtaking.
They've had a very busy curling season.
They sure have. They've been everywhere, logging up the air miles.
So they get their deuce, lead 2-0 over Germany.
Yeah, a win this morning against Germany. Wouldn't quite clinch a playoff spot for Korea, but would virtually do that. That would push them to 6-1 and get them in the frame for even thinking about top 2. You try not to think ahead, but they're in a really good position. That one rolls out. Open invitation now for Denmark to use that center guard.
Doesn't take much. It takes a half shot to really sway it the other way and look for Denmark to try and wrap this one around.
Take a look at the interval time. We'll time it between the near black hog line and the far black hog line. Draw weight to T-line has been running in between about 14 to 14 and a half seconds this week, so we'll clock it there in 14.7. Weight was there, but a little inside on the line. Nudges her own stone into the top ring.
That's where we've seen the weight throughout the week.
Yeah, it's been in that 14.2, 14.3 range, which is just fine. It's quick enough. You can do a lot with the brushes. Lots of movement though. So if you miss the break point early, hard to save it once they start to go. There's the top of the rock here. There's a lights green at the near hog line. It's an automatic hog line detector. We have seen, well, I've seen at least 3 hog line violations this week, Luke, which is unusual.
There was one big one yesterday. Una Costa had one on a final shot, gave up a steal of 4.
Yeah.
Look at that come around for Nakajima right in behind that wide corner.
Really nice. Deep enough. It's behind the tee, but it means that Japan, if they get a miss out of Denmark, can zip another one around that corner. Denise Dupont going to try to follow this one down and sit on top of it.
Big sweep, can't get by the front.
Well, they get a little plan B and munch themselves onto the rings. They do actually move that corner guard a little bit in the process and open up the shot rock. But yeah, lots of movement, lots of curl this morning. Catching both of the teams out. Typically on arena ice and competition stones, the stones are pretty lively. The players are kind of used to, if you throw board weight up, the stone's not going to do very much until very late in the trip. Whereas here, if you creep it down a little bit below board weight, they really start to go. And if you're throwing draw weight, they really move. This one's tracking out. There's an example of this up weight with a little inside-out release, and this one is tracking wide. Will it stick around? It might bite, but it's not going to be second shot. They get that little late spin that we all hope for as curlers.
Or hate if you're the other team.
Yeah, exactly right.
Does that one spinning on, does that change the call now for Denmark?
Well, it just means that you need to be mindful of your plan B option here. That if it is going to come to the back one, you do at least bring it on to the Japanese stone to nudge it off the rings.
This time, no problem getting right to it. We'll tap that one through. It is Denmark lying 2. So they got that steal of 2 in the first end to lead this game.
There's the Japanese bench coach, Yusuke Morozumi, and if he looks familiar as he enjoys his morning coffee. He represented Japan skipping the men's team at the Pyeongchang Winter Olympic Games, and he is here as a coach. This team, Yusuke is also from Karizawa.
6 World Championships. Best was a 4th for Morozumi in 2016.
Japan playing a lot of freezes this morning. They're a bit reluctant to move stones. I'm a bit surprised by that. And there's the Danish coach, Ulrich Schmidt, another curler of some renown, very experienced international player.
He's the director of sports for the Danish Curling Association. He played 9 World Championships himself, 2 Olympic Winter Games, countless Europeans.
Yeah.
I think you need to start using your toes if you want to start counting how many he's played at there.
Absolutely right.
3 silver medals at the European Championship, a bronze as well.
Yeah, now he's playing seniors curling, which is a problem for me because he's getting seniors curling. It's 50 and over, and it's the category of curling where your best chance to win is when you're a rookie.
Experience is not a good thing.
Well,
Not as successful.
by the time you get there, everybody's got some experience. Probably too much.
Well, the freeze over curls for Japan, so now free run behind the center line guard, risk free.
Yeah, everything is going Denmark's way, and Japan is really taking pressure away from Denmark by their shot choices. Hard lines, says Madeline Dupont. You can see how much this is curling. This one also looks a little light. It's coming up well short. So I kind of like to see Japan switch gears now. And if you're going to attack, use those center guards, get in there first, come down that track that Madeline just came down. If you freeze the back, all Denmark's going to do is whip around the center guards themselves. looking at those center guards.
Well, they must have been listening to Johan's play the come around. They looked at trying to hit. I can't quite see all of that redstone trying to hit and roll off it.
Yeah, I mean, freeze is a good shot if you make it, but Madeline's just thrown the draw. Should probably try it again. Playing the out turn though. I think this is slightly more difficult.
Well, she was late in the first end on a draw. And missed on her second. Big sweep, got to get around that one, and they just get by.
Brilliant
Look at that.
sweeping by Team Japan, and that is a pistol. Great shot.
Get in there to lie one. Now you're forcing Denmark to chase after you.
That's how you set up a skip's deuce. Take a look at how both skips set up. Madeline Dupont upright in her takeaway and delivery, and Akua Kitazawa more traditional, down and then elevating the hips slightly lower on her takeaway. Her slide foot coming in a lot more quickly than Madeline's in that Manitoba toe slide delivery. That's come back into vogue. Quite a while, curling coaches were teaching flat foot deliveries, but toe sliding very much back in fashion in the curling world. Dupont trying to sit in front, but this one is just going to pop into the open. Japan lying one, and a great chance now for Japan to cash in a pair.
Just that extra little bit of weight. Not be happy where that one positioned. They sizing up, is a double's a possibility?
Gosh, I don't know. I mean, I think it's a pretty straightforward play. Just get to the nose, take your two, and carry on. And they are kind of eyeing up the double. I think that's a shot for three, but if you're going to hit it anywhere, you're going to hit it high side for sure. But you want to make sure you get your pair.
I saw the double initially, but it doesn't look like you can make it without touching the yellow.
Exactly. You might lose your shot rock in the process, and if you throw a missile, you might lose your shooter as well and wind up only getting one. You've worked hard to try and get a pair here, and you've got a really pretty straightforward opportunity to get it, but boy, that ice is pretty tight. Does look like they're going to try the double.
Yeah, sometimes maybe you press a little bit after an early steal.
Here we go.
Big weight, last stone of the second end. Definitely taking on that double. And nothing from the front end. Got anything of it, and will end up killing their own and the red, and a steal of one. A risky decision, costly again. Another steal, and it's 3-0 Denmark, all via the steal after 2 ends of play.
Godt, hun ikke har sin bedste ender lige nu. Ja. Lad os bare være glade for det.
Thanks for tuning in here this morning for session 12 for Women's Curling Championship. Luke Bulla here with Hans Frauenlab. And the Japanese team, their own worst enemies so far in this game. 3 points stolen. Not the calls that you would expect, making the simple shots. Had a chance for 2 and risky chance at 3 ends up costing them.
That's right, Luke. And I don't like being critical, but the Japanese, the wounds have all been self-inflicted. It was a very poor shot choice on the final stone in the second end. You drop a 2 in the first, you get a chance to have a pretty routine shot to get yourself back on level terms, but you instead elect an unnecessarily risky shot to get a 3. That wasn't needed in that situation at all, so just bad shot choice.
So we sit 3-0, third end. Japan with the hammer for the third straight end. Denmark goes into the rings, the corner guard. I like seeing 2 corner guards at this point from Japan now.
Yeah, it's not panic stations. The good news for Japan is if you're going to have an ugly part of the game, you want to have it in the early part of the game. Lots of time to come back. So 5 rock-free guard zone, you can set 2 corners, but you don't need to score 6 here or anything like that. Get yourself a pair, stabilize things a bit, and go from there. They've been giving themselves chances. It's not like that Japan has had no lack of opportunities here. Don't have to change too much.
Had a shot for 2 in the first. Could have been a shot for 3 if Kitazawa makes her first.
Yep.
Shot for 2 in the second, but
Exactly
they decided
right.
to go for the one maybe at 3. I don't know if it was there even. They hit it perfectly.
Yeah, that's, I just didn't think that shot was worth playing.
Looking to use that corner guard.
Using the corner guard.
Let's look over Germany and Korea, second end.
Well, force is on here. A couple of Korean stones in the rings. Daniela Jentsch with us last night. She made some incredibly heroic shots. This one's not quite in the Olympia level of heroism, but still needs to hit and stick around to score. Nice shot there by Jentsch. Single point, but a good force there for Korea. Korea leading that one 2-1 after 2.
Slide over Scotland and Switzerland. The Swiss need to get things rolling now if they want to try and get to the playoffs.
Yes, they do. Savannah Terenzoni and company living a bit in the danger zone. Alina Petz, the 4th row rock thrower for Switzerland.
Former world champion.
2015 world champion, Alina Petz. No problem there. So that's a pair on the board for the Swiss. Scotland's on a bit of a roll, so I'm sure they'll fight back. 2-0 for Switzerland after 2.
Lastly, we'll get over to sheet D, Sweden and Russia.
And this is a huge game. Both of these teams on a bit of a roll, and 2 stones already behind those center guards for Anna Hasselborg, so here's a chance for her to cash in a 3. That would be huge.
Just precision from this Swedish team after an early 9-3 loss to China in their first game. Yeah. They've looked really strong since.
Yeah, the Swedish train is rolling now, no doubt about it.
Well played that they set up Hasselborg. Yeah, just draw the 8-foot for a 3rd point.
No problem there. And that's a 3 for Sweden, and that puts them up 3-0 after 2. And lots of Swedish support here.
And that's against a Russian team that is playing very well and very strong. Played one of the best games of any team all week yesterday morning against China.
Yeah, that's, you're exactly right, Luke. Alina Kovaleva. Not a Russian team that many international fans are familiar with, but they defeated Anna Sidorova in a best-of-7 playoff to decide who would represent Russia, and you're right. They're just quietly going along, and you look at the standings and, oh, they're tied for first.
It's a leaderboard a few years ago you may not have expected when you see some of the countries that are at the top.
Exactly right. Coming into this morning's draw, your top three are China, Russia, and Korea. If you would have come to this event 20 years ago and said, that's your leaderboard, people would have been looking at you rather strangely.
Well, Japan trying to play the quiet little double, chip that out. Really nice.
That works. Absolutely. Nice shot by Nakajima.
It leaves that red stone in that could be a potential catcher.
Exactly right. Once again, Japan setting it up. Let's see if they can actually convert at this end. Angles are good for Japan. Angles are bad for Denmark.
Denise DuPont trying to eliminate a couple of them here in third stones.
Here we see the jams. Saves one Japanese shooter. Good shot, though, from DuPont. And Denmark has got a cluster of stones around the ring, so Japan's still got a deuce going here, but much higher risk now.
Have to put these last four together and trying to keep things maybe a little simpler for Kitazawa right now.
I think so too, Luke.
Has missed her shot so far. She made her first in the last end, but otherwise.
Yeah. Really needs to find her range, and Jackie trying to set it up for her here. Good looking stone. Little outside roll, and Japan lies two. Pretty flat, difficult for Denmark to think about doubling them off. Madeline will have a look though. Inside roll will do. We don't really need to double, but get behind cover. Denise DuPont.
Jeg har plads. Hænger lidt herude. Ja, kom bare, Lina. Ja, vi har den cirka lige på. Det er fint, Denise. Godt. Okay. Godt set, Manne.
On the nose.
Just got to be careful you don't roll out at all, because then a double comes in.
That's right. This stone is creeping further forward in the house every time it gets hit, so it changes the angle for the potential double takeout. Let's walk along with the sweepers here. That's the perspective when you're brushing the rock. Again, this rocked a little heavy in the weight, but on the nose. But see now the angle in the Yellowstone's much different. 2 shots ago, not a makeable double. Now it's absolutely a makeable double.
Even a roll in front, probably not a bad plan B.
Well, you got 3 options here, Luke. Hit and roll behind cover, thin double, or hit and roll and cross and sit in front of the Japanese stone, the 4-foot. So got a good amount of tolerance here to make a play on this shot. Got 2 or 3 good options.
Jeg synes, det er lidt farligt at begynde at prøve at spille en dobbelt på den. Fordi det er meget helt over. Så vi samler det så tæt som muligt.
Explaining to her teammates, we got a few options here. Thin double.
Bare kørt lige ud. Jo, jeg synes, jeg satte den lidt positivt ud af. Ja.
On a shot like this where you do have options, puts a lot of heat on the line reader, in this case, Julie Hall. And the sweepers to communicate the weight.
As long as they get the stone they can use. Haven't laid a lick on this one all the way down. Just trying.
Yep, that stone is moving further and further forward in the rings.
Så den skal ind et eller andet sted. Ja, godt set. God fart, Mette.
For the 3rd straight end, Japan in a position where they look like they can have a shot at multiple points.
Yep, the 2 is on. A couple of ways to get second shot. Hit and roll this stone or draw around. Looks like they're going to try to hit and roll. problem for Japan if they nose this one. Might not be second shot. That will let Denmark eliminate the shot rock and set up the force. Kitazawa then looking for a little inside roll here. It's again not laying a brush to it, Luke.
Seen both sides in this path, just a little bit straighter if you're out at all, like that one rolling away now, and away because it's fourth shot.
Oh dear, well,
Jeg kan næsten lide at spille den en nier.
once
Fordi
again,
så kan vi ramme den mere lige på og ruller stadig.
struggles for Japan at the fourth stone position, and
Jo, det er det.
Så heller lige
Denmark again getting a chance to
Ja, men der er plads til...
get themselves out of the end with a pretty routine shot.
bare derindad.
Ja, lige præcis. Så skal hun trods alt ind i et spor. 9.
And I really like Denmark has
og den trailer
done the
nemlig
simple
her.
things. They've just
Yeah.
made theirs hit and stick.
Yep.
Hit and stick. Get the rollout from Kitazawa. They're not pressing.
Yeah.
Knowing even if you give up 2, it's not the end of the
Spiller
world.
den 9
Oh,
og prøver
exactly
at rykke
right.
den lidt indad.
Executing well this morning,
Trods alt
Team
lidt
Denmark.
et andet spor end den helt samme, som jeg lige spiller. Ja. Jeg synes, det gengæld den curlede godt min herude.
Let's look over Scotland and Switzerland. Scotland coming in 4-2. Switzerland 3-3.
Looks like Sophie Jackson of Scotland is facing at least 2 and maybe 3 on this draw.
And Sophie back in the lineup yesterday for a win over Canada.
Yeah, Sophie's had a bit of an injury niggle, had a bit of a back twinge earlier in the week, sat down. Alternate Lauren Gray came in, did a great job, and Sophie's back in the lineup, but this stone has got a bit of traveling to do yet, Luke. Looks like it's coming up short.
Well, how many did they cut it down to? It's a steal of 1, a steal of 2.
I think it's a steal of 2. Well, maybe it's just 1. We'll wait for the confirmation of the score. We'll let you know.
Looks like I saw a 1 up to the umpire.
Okay, steal of 1 for the Swiss, so that'll put them out 3-0 after 3.
Yes, so 3-0. Those are the shots that Sophie was missing early in the week and just needs to make those shots to bail her team out. Scotland, it's been a long haul for them, but here, it's been a long haul as well this week for Kitazawa. Long day, long start for this one. Really needs to come up with this draw, facing 3.
Well, this one is not exactly heavy either, Luke.
Matsumura, Ishiguka, just keep this one going. Got to get it in the 8-foot, get a little further, cut the steal down. It's a steal of 1, and 1, I think, only.
Yeah.
But another steal at an end where a 2 was set up.
It's been that kind of morning so far for Team Japan.
I think Japan will have to take that moving forward. They have had the end set up, just can't finish. It's another steal, and it's a 4-0 lead now for Denmark, taking on Japan.
Jamen, vi skal blive ved med at fokusere på os selv. Igen, det handler ikke om vind eller tab. Det handler om, at vi gør de rigtige ting, og jeg synes, det ser godt ud. Bliv ved med at gøre, hvad I gør. Det ser godt ud. Tag det afslappet. Der er ikke noget pres på, fordi vi er foran.
A lot of school kids coming in here this morning, getting their respective flags for which game they're watching and cheering for. Obviously, I think a lot of them are hoping for a Danish win. They're off to a good start. 4-0 they lead. Luke Coley here with Hans Frauenlab. Japan's had chances every single end.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, nothing better than a morning off school to come and watch the curling, Luke.
I know I always enjoyed that Canadian Championships coming from where I live. It was always, all right, you get an afternoon off or a morning off and you get to go watch curling.
Woohoo!
I don't know which. I always enjoyed watching the curling. I know the kids are probably just sometimes more excited just to get out of school.
Sure. Some candy, get some popcorn.
Run around.
Run around, make some noise, wave a flag. Life is good. But you're right, Japan. It's one of these situations where, you know, if you're sitting back on the coaching bench, you'd be wishing it's the 5th end break right now, because it feels like Japan just has to kind of press the big red reset button and go, wait a minute, let's just rethink what we're doing here this morning and simplify things. But, you know, it's really just a story of execution. Like you said, Luke, they've had every end set up and have just not been able to finish it off. So it's one of these situations where, as teammates, they really do need to rally around Akui Kitazawa and do what they can to, you know, they can't make the shots for her, but it's support, it's feedback, it's communications. You know, don't have to scream at each other, you know, but do what you can to help your teammate be successful.
Saw the numbers. Lena Knudsen, 80% on the tournament.
That's pretty steady play.
Yeah, and a good pair here, keeping it on the center line. It was interesting to see this Japanese team that hasn't played international events. Yeah, they played the Japanese Championship, but now you're talking a 12-game round robin. It's a long week. See Ishiguka, 78%. Sort of, at what point do you think, do the wheels fall off? You get the fatigue. It's a long haul, physically and mentally.
Yeah, and that's where the teams that have been through a tournament like this before have a bit of an advantage, because they just know it's going to happen. You're going to get to the middle of the week, you might have a flat spot. In a 12-game round robin, I don't care who you are. You know, if you're the most talented team or the least talented team in the field, you're going to have one game where you play above your expectations, and you're going to have another game where you play awful. But it's how to cope with that when it happens. And I'm not saying that Japan's playing awful here. It's really just they've never been through a 12-game round robin at a world championship before. So everything is new for them.
You can talk till you're blue in the face. It's to actually experience it.
Yeah, yeah. You can talk about preparation, but you know, plan is only a plan until it actually meets reality, and it's a bit of reality this morning for Team Japan. Good test for them, though. It's one of these ones where if you can turn this one around, fight back, and win it, could be a defining type of a game in the careers of a team. Because at a world championship level, one of the first things you need to do as a unit is believe that you can compete and win at this level. They've already won 3 games. They're 3-3 coming into this tournament, so they know they can win. But can you win a game where you got yourself in a jam? And that's what turns the good teams into great teams. Just tickles that center guard. Keeps their own stone spinning and sitting behind cover, so that's a useful result for Nakajima.
Good use of the weight and not overthrowing it,
Yep.
so it does stick around.
Absolutely right.
And the 2 corners out in front. Good use of the 5 rock free guard zone rule. Let's look at all the scores. 4-0 in our feature game. Korea gets another deuce. They're up 4-1 over Germany. 3-0 Switzerland leading Scotland. And the same score over on sheet D. Russia's going to be in tough to try and set stuff up, because that Sweden team a very strong hitting side.
No doubt about it.
The one corner guard gets peeled off here. Julie Hope.
Conversely, this Danish team, they've been through these tournaments before, and I spoke earlier about, you know, Madeline. She's a real confidence player, and you can just see their confidence level this morning getting stronger and stronger as the game goes along. So Denmark is a very dangerous team once they get a level of confidence going.
Well, and I like the way that they've called it so far. Very patient.
Yep.
They know they've been in some possible stressful situations. They haven't tried to go for too much.
Yep.
Mind you, they did get some misses, which help.
Yeah, but when they got the miss, they punished it every time.
The little tap sits out in front. Hoping for a bit more roll here in this fourth end.
Japan keeping stones in play, just trying to set something up. Great thing about that stone just delivered by Nakajima, it's right in the danger zone. Just short of the rings, they can use it.
70% on the tournament for Denise Dupont. Hit and a roll. Just adding more stones here. It's actually doesn't hurt Japan.
Yeah, Japan doesn't have to, totally go nutso and gamble everything in this end. A deuce would still be pretty useful. Frankly, just scoring would be useful and just change the dynamic a little bit. But you're right, Luke, that stone sliding back 4. Things to jam on, things to freeze against, things to sit in front of for Team Japan.
Good numbers, 80% for Chiaki Matsumura. The brother will be skipping the Japanese men's rank in Lethbridge, Canada. The men's worlds coming up next week.
That's right. Yuta Matsumura won the Pacific Asia Championships in Gangneung earlier a few months ago, and they will be on their way to Lethbridge to represent Japan. Nice shot by Matsumura, but very low danger of a jam here coming out turn for Denise Dupont. Looking for a little bit of a roll and get some cover, and again, Denmark, nice execution. As you said, Luke, good straightforward execution on good straightforward shot choices.
Yeah, lots of reasons to smile for Denmark this morning.
Absolutely. Things going all their way so far. Nakajima considering tapping that one back and pushing it behind the tee line. Sit their own stone. Maybe in front of that stone in the back of the forefoot in the process. Or maybe get a roll across behind the center guard. Japan's got to be a little bit careful. I think it's really important that they score in this end. It's kind of stating the obvious, but they don't want to, in the course of gambling, to try and get 2 or 3, close off their own scoring option in the process.
Again, a real big sweep trying to get it by, and quiet weight benefiting Japan that it stays in play.
Matsumura looks on the result. Well, Denmark's lying at least 1. They might even be lying 2.
Well, it's not going to be the setup for Japan. This is really the first end they haven't had anything mounted.
Yeah, really quiet there. You just saw that quick shot between Nakajima and Kitazawa. When things are going tough, it's really important that you keep the lines of communication open. Kind of have to grind it out. Things aren't going your way. Just got to talk about it.
hvis vi skyder hendes ud, så går hun rundt.
Ja. Ja.
Så er hun én ting.
Og det er, ja.
Og så skal vi lave en run back på hendes side ned mod. Havde det været vores egen, der lå deroppe,
Denmark
havde
rather is
været en
line
anden
two.
historie.
Ja.
Altså jeg kan godt lide den her, de spillede den jo den vej ned sidst på din sidste sten.
Ja,
Der var den lidt lang.
Ja.
Der var den havde I 10 der? Nej, der havde vi 0. Nå, okay. Okay, så passer 10 nok meget godt, ikke? Ja.
Denmark, on the other hand, you can hear the conversation as DuPont gets into the hack to throw.
God, fin retning. 6.
69% for DuPont. Obviously at 0-6, not the
Plads. Plads.
record or percentage that Madeline would have hoped for.
7. Ja. Er det 7?
Linjen er god!
6 herned. Det er 6.
Denise trying to hold the line straight to get by that center guard, and they do.
Try and get it in to be 1-2-3.
Rigtig godt far.
And not quite, but does cut off the out-turn path behind that yellow center guard in the process. Takes away the raise possibility.
It's important not to overthrow this. Sometimes you want to move a couple around. You overthrow when you're not as accurate.
Yeah. Getting the delivered stone into a good place is the priority on this shot. Thought I heard bumper. Weight that they're trying to throw.
67% for the tournament accuracy, but it's been up and down. When they've done well, she's played well. When they've struggled, she's been off. So far, not good numbers in this one.
Yeah, it's a little bit more than bumper weight, jams the back, and Denmark-wise 1.
Hoping for more out of that one, but yeah, maybe a half shot out of Denmark. Opportunity. Try and move shot stone.
Could be, although Denmark may eliminate this Japanese stone in the back 8. Wouldn't leave very many good options at all for Kat Kitazawa.
Det er lige før i det her spor, at den kan komme til at rulle ind bagved.
Men du vil
Det vil faktisk være helt fint. Ja, altså, jeg tror, du kan få den ind bag ved centergarden.
Det ser svært ud herfra.
Jamen, ja, jeg ved det godt, men den går sådan der, så jeg tror godt, det kan lade sig gøre.
Vil du så hellere det?
Ja. Samme vis.
How's your Danish this morning?
Not that good, but they definitely adjusted the shot. You could see Madeline, the way that I knew that is Madeline stood up, reset, and it's almost like, okay, slightly different than what we talked about when I left the home end and getting everybody on the same page. They are worried about this one over curling though, Luke. Well, they're safely by the guards. Nice looking shot here.
A little bit of a roll. I almost didn't mind just rolling out there because now there's a bit of backing on the draw.
There is, although it's one of these situations where, as we take a look on the replay,
Force a shot against 3 as
exactly
opposed to
right.
2.
Your opponent is wobbling, and you've got a chance to really twist the tourniquet a little bit more.
So now 4 foot needed to get that single point.
Exactly right.
Has that backing.
It's
but
there.
That extra redstone in there in the back of Kitazawa's mind. The youngster needs to come up with a shot, get her team on the board.
Yeah, sometimes that backing can be more of a curse than a blessing because you start to think I can use it and you goose the weight a little bit and it tracks. We'll take a look at the split time.
So 14.5 is what they're looking for?
Well, looks a little slower than that this morning. I'd be looking something like 14, 14.2 here for T-line. 14-2. Let's see what the line looks like. Are they by everything in the front?
Got to keep this one going, get it into the 4 foot. Very nice. The youngster, Ikue Kitazawa, gets Japan on the board with the draw of the 4 foot. It is a 4-1 score now. We're through 4 ends in the World Women's Curling Championship. Japan gets on the board in that fourth end. Their first score of the game, the LGT World Women's Curling Championship 2019. Japan will see maybe they can have success without the hammer. See that so many times where finally get that point. Your team starts to roll a little bit.
Yeah, the hammer's a curse sometimes, and you just want to get rid of it. And it was a very nice last draw there by Kitazawa, and I think that's exactly what she needed. She's been struggling this morning, but you make a nice draw like that to score the point, and sometimes that's the kind of shot that can just turn your game around.
A long centerline guard starts off the fifth end. We'll look over on sheet B, Germany and Korea. 4-1, Korea leads this game. Germany, though, has the hammer.
Yeah, and it looks like a shot for two here for Daniela Jentsch. Nose hitting stick. Well, they're on it and off it. That's usually a good sign. And yes, it is. It is a pair for the Germans, and so that gets them right back in the game. Korea leading that one 4-3 now after 4.
Well, we say moving days. We get to the home stretch of the round robin. All the teams with 6 games remaining. A couple with 5.
That's a huge game for Germany. They're sitting at 3-3. So a win against Korea would both bring Korea back towards them, because Korea's at 5-1, and it would propel the Germans up into the top half of the field. Huge game for Germany.
You see teams will always look at, you never want to lose to a team of, when you're pushing for the playoffs, lose to a team above you, because then it becomes a wider gap. It was a 2-game gap. If they lose, it's a 3-game gap.
That's right.
You also see that they know one of the one-loss teams is going to come back on sheet D, Sweden, Russia.
Yep.
Japan needs to do their part. They come in at 3-3. Denmark is not eliminated. They're 0-6. They need to run the table to have a chance.
Well, they're doing what they can. They're 3 up and got the hammer here this morning.
But you need that first win.
Yeah, you can't get to 6-6 without your first win.
Exactly.
Quiet delivery of Seina Nakajima. Very serene player. Not too vocal out there.
Yeah, very quiet. Good judgment. See, the big thing, it's not necessarily just the sweeping of it, it's managing the stone. When does the person closest be the one trying to sweep to get the curl, to try and hold the line?
That's right, Luke. Stone management is the responsibility of everybody. Sweepers to communicate the weight. Line reader to anticipate the break and the finish.
Looking at the double peel. Get one, and we'll get their own. A little bit of a cluster out in front. Not exactly how they want to keep things clear here in this fifth end.
Well, the good news for Denmark is the corner guards, as well as the Japanese stone in the rings, top 12 foot, so there's lots of room in the scoring area for Denmark. They can come around the corner guard and still get shot. But a great chance here for Japan to zip another one around that center guard. Kind of wondering why they're not thinking coming around on the intern side. Outturn side, shot's definitely there, but I think it just makes it more difficult. Brings the stone.
Just guarding, I think, still.
Yeah, okay, just throwing up another guard, then that's fine. Just right-hand guard, corner guard, and it's going to sit up in front of the stone in the front 12. DuPont will clear.
Hoping to get 2 on this one.
Julia,
One of 3 lefties in the field.
Yep.
As many left-handed deliveries. Just misses that other yellow guard.
Good situation. Now Japan will go around. Jackie Matsumura.
Just that extra bit of weight. Couldn't really sweep it. Hangs out.
Not perfect, but in the ring, second shot. Not counting Denmark, so DuPont will still clear front on this. The way they're lined up, if they get a great result, they could maybe kill all 3. Have to throw a lot of weight to do that, though, so Denise DuPont just trying to open things up a bit. Well, 3 stones in motion. There's a chance. That's the rest of the back 8. Good shot.
We'll look over Sweden and Russia. 3-0. Sweden leads. Russia, though, has a chance here.
Yeah, line 1 already, so Alina Kovaleva. Great chance here to get back in it for the deuce.
They play a very patient approach. And you're going to need that against a Sweden team. Can't try and get it all back in one end. It's got Brizgalova, who's playing very well at the 3rd position. Be matched up against Sarah McManus, one of the best of that position in the game right now. But they do get there too.
Yes, they do. Russia right back in it. Trying to stay ahead of Sweden in the table. Russia could come back and win that game. That would be an enormous win for them. Probably clinch a playoff spot. Japan setting a center guard. It's a pretty good call. It's, your own stone's back 8 foot. If you draw around the corner guard, then you're inviting Denmark to really just follow you down and take you out at the end. By throwing it there, chokes off the intern side to get to the corner for Denmark.
Are they taking a run at this?
Well, they are. Looks like they've got enough of a hole here. Maybe we're going to have a go.
Trying to run the guard.
Yep. Run the front stone in. Maybe pick off the stone in the back. Well, stones flying everywhere. 2 Japanese stones in the rings now.
Okay, come again.
But on the side of the rings, so not as threatening if they were in the center line. And we play the 5th end. 4-1, Denmark leading.
Well, they're thinking about putting another one in around the corner guard. I didn't mind that center guard call that they played on the shot before, because it really would have forced Denmark into maybe trying promoting their own stone or something like that, a higher degree of difficulty shot. But looks like Japan's thinking about tucking one around top 12 on the right-hand side of our picture. Sit in front of their stone in the back 8 foot. Be a good shot if they make it. It would force Denmark into taking one.
Ja, jeg er rigtig glad for en nu.
just as in the last end when Denmark made Kitazawa look at 3. Sometimes you just want to make your opponent look at a lot of stones on their last shot.
Let's look over Scotland and Switzerland, and Scotland in a bit of a mess.
Yeah, lots of Swiss stones in the rings here facing Sophie Jackson. This does not look pretty at all. Looks like she's electing to draw for a piece of the button, drawing against 4 here. This is pretty much a game shot.
Already trailing 3-0 in that one on a draw that came up short.
Yeah, she could try the double takeout on the front 2 stones to cut down the damage, but even then she's probably still dropping 2, so Sophie Jackson electing to draw here.
Well, it's up to the sweepers, Sinclair and Smith.
This is a huge shot.
Don't know if it's going to get there.
No, it is again coming up short, and that could be lights out. It's at least 3 and maybe 4 for the Swiss.
So it looked like I thought I saw the umpire with 4 put up. A steal of 4.
Wow. That could be lights out for Scotland in that one. Down 7-0 after 5.
Wow. It's 2 shots coming up short on draws for Sophie Jackson. It was looking promising after a win yesterday against Canada.
Yeah, Scotland was getting on a bit of a roll, but screaming into a brick wall this morning in the form of Silvana Tirinzoni. Japan did make that nice draw around the corner guard, so they're sitting 3. But just enough of it visible for Madeline Dupont to say, I can make a play at that. Double off.
Do you try and keep a shooter around if you can?
We've got tons of house to roll to, Luke, so she can make the double and actually roll across and hide behind cover and maybe set up a deuce that way. Kind of 2 for the price of 1.
Try and get by, and they'll touch the front.
Wow.
Push that red guard right through. Does open up a draw path for her.
Well, it does, but boy, oh boy, this changes the dynamic a lot.
Said Japan got that 1 point. All of a sudden, you have the hammer. We haven't
Hammer?
had luck with it.
Who wants hammer today? Not so much. Madeline Dupont trying to get by that corner guard, but all over it.
I think they get by there on the yellow one.
I think you're right. Even if they get past that stone, they probably hit the shorter of the corner guards. So Japan with a great chance here to really, in ice hockey, goalie cutting down the angle, and Japan will be trying to do that, just take away as much of that forefoot as they can and make the final shot of Madeline Dupont more difficult.
These are nice shots, especially trying to build confidence, trying to get a better feel. Kitazawa.
I think a great spot for this shot would be half in the 8-foot, kind of right on the center line, and make Madeline look at 4. Tempt her into playing some double takeouts, and you might steal 2 or 3.
Big brush, trying to get this one far as they can. Try to at least get a biter out of this one now.
Oh, no. Well, they have cut off a bit of the forefoot, but boy, you really wanted that one on the rings. That stone comes up another 4 feet, and this shot is a lot harder for Madeline Dupont. It's not easy as it is. There's the whole side of the house to draw to now. But she's looking at 3.
Nej, men jeg er bare bange for, jeg synes, at vi rammer cirka samme sted her. Okay, så er det fint. Jeg er lidt ude og ligner lidt inde. Har vi noget? 10 på 05 siden. Okay. Den skal i...
Well, it was a pressure draw made last end by Japan. Now it's Madeline Dupont's turn.
It's really the first time in the game that Japan has put this kind of heat on their opponent. Let's take a look at the split time on this one. Remember, Kitazawa's draw was about 14-2 between the hog lines to get to T-line. Let's look what DuPont's does.
Right out of her hand, they are on it.
All hands on deck. Julie Huff comes out to join the sweep. They're concerned about the weight, 14-7. It's a little slower than Kitazawa's, but they're keeping it moving. Looks pretty good. Nice sweep there by Team Denmark, and they get the job done.
Just put their head down and go. Denmark gets their one, and will have a 5-1 lead into the break of this one. Looking for win number 1. Denmark in good position right now.
Okay. Hvis faktisk slidet var til den hurtige side, lige der sat af, så tænker jeg sådan, der fik den sgu lige...
Men nu fik jeg altså ikke nogen tid på den,
Nej,
så,
det er helt
så jeg er ikke rigtig noget, jeg kan hjælpe med på den front.
Nej, det er helt i orden.
Jeg synes, den så meget fint.
Third end, just trying to get on the board. Looking for the outturn draw. But this one will not make it there. Comes up short, and it will be a steal of one more for Denmark. Japan in the fourth end, really trying to get something going, unable to. Kue Kitazawa needs the 4-foot for one. And a real nice sweep. Ishiguka Matsumura right to the 4-foot. One for Japan. Denmark faced with a similar situation for themselves in the fifth. Madeline DuPont needs 8-foot or better. Knudsen, Denise DuPont, end to end. Julie Hoke out to help. And they will take it far enough to get their one for Denmark. Retain their 4-point lead. Keeping you up to date, Sweden and Russia over on sheet D. And Sweden in good position in this one, scoring 3 in the second. Russia got 2 in the fourth, and let's look at all the scores here. 5-1 in our feature game, 4-3 Korea leading Germany in the fifth end on sheet B. 7-0, you saw the steals by Switzerland against Scotland. And it was 2 more for Sweden in the fifth end. They lead 5-2 in their fifth end break against Russia. Pivotal games here in the middle of the week.
Men sådan er det, når man ikke spiller sten, sådan er det. Så altså, de to ting er jo ikke nødvendigvis noget med hinanden at gøre. I gør de rigtige ting. I prøver, og det er det, I kan gøre, ikke? Og så er rigtig godt udgangspunkt lige nu, ikke?
Jo. Ja, vi skal have vores kampe med handicap.
Ja, det er det. Nej, men det er jo fedt. Så målet må være at gå ud og...
あっち側の曲がらないライン気をつけて、難しいね、ちょっとね。だけど多分予想だけど2フィートの中ぐらいがちょっと曲がる。だからそれで曲がるって騙されないように2から4ぐらいは曲がってないし、2から中入ったらちょっと曲がってくるような感じだから、遅いウェイトがさそこに入ってくると千秋に曲がったじゃん、バンパーね。だけどそれより外が全然曲がらなかったりするから気をつけて幅立って、あとこっちがすごくよく返ってくるから、その辺の幅もね気をつけながら。だからコーナーガードとかもちょっと開いちゃってる、流れちゃってる、もうちょい幅取ってもいいかなって感じもする。
Here's the numbers through 5 ends of play. Denmark has that 5-1 lead, but overall percentage, Japan outplaying Denmark 78 to 73%, and the draw percentage 79 to 70%. And overall, just a slight advantage in the hit percentage, 77 to 75. But those misses on the back end led to 4 stolen points by Denmark.
Okay, Nis. Oh!
I'll look overhead of the 4 sheets put out on the ice here at the Silkeborg Sports Center. It opened in 2007. Beautiful venue. All kinds of other multi-purpose rooms, other sporting activities going on. We are here in the ice arena, turned into 4 sheets of curling ice for the LGT World Women's Curling Championship. And you see those 4 points early by Denmark, all via the steal. Both teams trading ones with the hammer. So a couple of shots Kitazawa would love to have back. But that leaves us 5-1. Japan's going to try and set up their score right now. Get a couple of corners out, try and generate some offense. Corner guards. Hans, we showed it. Japan leading in overall percentage. You see 64% on the game for Knudsen. Japan may be leading percentage, but it's when you've missed shots.
That's exactly right, Luke. In the early part of the game, Japan just couldn't close ends out. You'd make 7 shots and miss 1, and all of a sudden your opponent's got a steal on you as opposed to you getting 2, and that's how you get behind on the scoreboard. So you got to make those last ones.
Well, Knudsen missed on her first, went through the rings. That one a little deep. Is it full on to corner guard territory?
I think so. I'm sure that the coaches at the halftime break would have said, okay, 4 down with the hammer, got the even ends. Old school curling, get a 2, get a force, get a 2, get a force, get a 2, we're into an extra end. So, again, don't have to go too crazy, but on the other hand, it's a 5 rock free guard zone. Throw 2 corner guards, absolutely.
You saw the numbers in the 90s. Ishiguka.
That's a nice bounce back for her. She had a roughish game yesterday and playing very well today.
.75% drew the hook.
Steady through the tournament, just exactly on her tournament average.
And just 19 years old, a student in Copenhagen.
So the school children here earlier watching, and maybe Julie's wagging school this week as well. Sorry, I've got to go play in a world championship.
It's her first world championship. She played in the Olympics last year. So not normally do you play in an Olympics before you play at a world championship. Seina Nakajima at 88%.
Yeah, that's pretty good as a 19-year-old to say he's played in an Olympics and a world championship. That's quite something. Good looking stone here, right around that corner guard, fully buried. Good shot.
I'll look in Germany and Korea over on sheet B.
Well, center guard up, Stone's in behind. Looks like the Germans are sitting shots. A tough shot here for Kim Min-ji.
Speaking of 19-year-olds.
Yeah, a team full of 19-year-olds, Team Korea. They're all 19 years of age. Youth will be served. This one, though, looks like it's over curling.
No, trying to get it there. I don't think it has a chance. And
No. Coming up well short, so that'll be a steal of one for the Germans, and that ties the game up.
4-4 after 5. Germany trying to help a few of those 2-3 loss teams, bring Korea back to the pack.
Well, that's right.
Don't have a lot to go on based on the 13-team field and making the playoffs. 2 world championships, men and women, last year.
Yeah.
6-6 was good enough to make it into the playoffs, but also was good enough to be 7th place.
Exactly right. You want to get to 7 wins to feel safe as far as making the playoffs goes. And if you want to win the round robin, you've got to be thinking 10-2 or 11-1, really. So first priority is to survive and advance, in the words of the late great coach Jim Galvano, basketball coach. You grind your way through the round robin phase to get yourself into the playoffs. That's job one. And once you feel like you're in the playoff field and a straight run back just misses the Japanese stone. Once you're in the playoffs, then you can give yourself the luxury of thinking, well, if you finish 1-2, there's a real prize in it. You go straight to the semi. But job one is to get in the playoffs.
You can see the gears cranking for Nakajima right now. How do we get our 2?
Yeah, it's set up really well for Japan here, even though Denmark's got 2 in the forefoot. They've got 1 squarely behind a corner guard. Good opportunity here to hit and roll. If they can execute this well and roll behind the corner guard, then that brings the 3 very much into play.
Natsumura, 83% above her tournament average.
It's important that Japan saves their shooter here, regardless. Looking for a roll. Well, they got caught in between. They called off to leave the roll sitting in front of the Danish stone instead of committing for the roll behind the guard, and left it kind of in the no man's land in between. Right here, we'll see the call off.
Yeah, just that too late to make that call.
Yeah.
For it to have any effect on it.
That's right. Makes the shot a little easier for the Danes. Low risk of a jam. They don't want to roll out, though, but they do, so this opens the door for the Japanese.
Just like that. As you said, Hans, 3 is in play.
Yeah, and I like this call. Draw around the corner guard now. Club teams would say, oh, there's a chance to get rid of the shot rock. We'll just go and hit it, but Japan set 2 corner guards for a reason. This is a great chance to get a second one behind a corner. I like this call.
Now it's up to the execution.
Yep, rushers were backing off. Now they're getting a bit more interested in it. Lots of pace still. Oh yeah, this one's gonna slide deep. Gee whiz, has to stay in the rings. Now it will survive in the back 12. Not bad. Deeper than they would have liked, but it is in the rings. There you see, half buried. Japan can get another one around that corner guard in front of it if they get an opportunity.
Lad os spille fryset med tolerancen, der hedder bare bum. Ja, bare på midten der, tror jeg. Ja, det tror jeg er fint.
10, og ellers lidt. Bare 10.
Jeg har 14-1 på den der kommer der
First
uden fejning.
plan is to freeze it, and then if you have the line, then you can sweep to bump it.
Yep. A few options here for DuPont.
Ja, ja. Kan I lide 10-15? Jeg kan godt lide 10. Ja, 10.
Both skips in this game had some issues lower numbers, 65% for Madeline Dupont.
Så skal den have. 9. Linjen er god. 10. God retning. 10. Plads.
Key thing for Denmark is to be second shot after this one comes to rest.
Helt væk.
Well,
I
really
don't
got to
know.
slow down.
Got a piece of it. Well, they do get second shot, but boy, they've lined up a double, and all of a sudden now Japan does have a great chance to get their 3.
Hvad er jeres tider på den
They
her?
can just make
Hvad
a
er jeres
nose
tider på den
double,
her?
leave themselves sitting there. The 3 is on.
Det var fordi, I kaldte den kort.
They are talking about hit and roll.
Ja.
As the Dupont sisters look a little concerned.
We get a couple stones down a path, it will be fractionally quicker.
Yeah, that's true. And these inside-out pass, you spend a lot of the time in the game kind of drawing around outside into the button and a little less going inside out around corner guards, and that does take you down different paths, but there you see it. Great opportunity for Japan. Just hammer this one right on the nose, make the pair, make Dupont look at 3.
Well, that's not going to bode very well for you at 48%.
Well, if you're 100% in the second half of the game, you can forget about that percentage. Great opportunity here for Kitazawa to get her team a real lift. Well, looks like they're going to try to play for a roll behind the corner. Does hide a corner.
Almost just were late on the sweep call to make the roll.
Yeah.
Thinking there's still maybe even a possibility of making the double.
Yeah, kind of in between. It did look like they were thinking roll right off the bat, which did surprise me a bit because
Max der, den må ikke klikke op på den der. Den må hellere curl for meget.
for me, I go after that one in the back
Jeg
ring
kan
all
godt lide, hvor du
day.
stod før.
You may not get another chance to move it to count a big end.
Men når den tager fat på den. Den må ikke klikke op på den her.
But she's half hidden around the corner guard, and if Madeline chases it and she was ever fraction heavy and just bumps it in the open, it could be a double takeout for 4. So danger lights are flashing here for Denmark. You see about 2/3 of the shot. Big shot here for Madeline Dupont. Gotta make this good or you might lay your opponent right back in the game. Good looking stone here. Does not want to bounce. Oh, that is absolutely perfect. Couldn't carry it down and place it any better than that.
Well, gutsy call at that point, knowing what was on the line.
Oh, yeah.
The risk.
Totally. Fantastic corner freeze. Madeline Dupont, look at that. A terrific shot. Hindsight's always perfect, Luke, but that's why I didn't love the hit and roll. Take the play towards the corner and give your opponent a chance to do something like that. Now for Japan, going for a chance at a 3 or a 4. Now it's how do you score? As the time clocks are running. I've had one team run out of time this week.
Yeah, normally it doesn't become too much of an issue for teams. They normally get tight, but they'll use that timeout late.
Yeah. Still enough time for both teams to complete their shots comfortably.
Looks like just a straight draw. I thought have to play something to try and go after too.
Yeah. Scoring's important. A 2 would be really tough. I mean, there aren't great shots for deuce.
Well, an absolute end saver for Madeline Dupont, forcing the draw for 1 here, the last shot of the end. Need the 4-foot. Need full 4-foot. Did they leave it too long?
Oh,
they
no.
do. And another steal. They were very casually going along, thought they had enough, but it hits the brakes And it's a steal of 1 for Denmark and a 6-1 lead in session 12.
Ja. Og når Mattis lige kører 14-8, ikke?
Ja. Det kører altså også vand på midten, ikke?
Jo, Mattis kører jo meget lige. Ja.
Det må vi altså være opmærksom på. Også det er jo det samme spor som min nede den anden ende. Det kan godt være, der er et eller andet over ved banden, der bare ikke er...
Ja.
optimalt. Der er et eller andet Ice King spor eller et eller andet.
Også fordi de er så oppe på den ved
Ja, det er styr på det. Jeg siger til Julie, jeg synes, det er hurtigt ud på hotline.
Ja, da vi tog tiden, så vi også.
Thanks for tuning in. The LGT World Women's Curling Championship 2019. Luke Coley, Hans Frauenlab. And we've seen so many swings back and forth in this game, a lot towards Denmark. But that one, magnificent shot. But again, maybe some of the tactics of Japan playing against them.
Yeah. Once again, Japan had it setting up fantastically. Had a very makeable double takeout to would have left himself lying 3 and leave Madeline Dupont very little, but instead rolled a little bit off to the side, and then Dupont comes back with an absolute perler of a corner freeze and took Japan right out of the end and in fact stole the end. So timely shooting by the Danish skip and a few miscues by the Japanese fourth rock thrower. And net result, Denmark is in control.
6-1 is where we stand. Denmark has only scored 1 point with the hammer. This corner guard will slide right into the ring. So
that's what you don't need in this situation when you're chasing. Giving your opponent a chance to blast away, no protection from the free guard zone.
Does change it. You do get another chance to get that corner guard. In the four rock rule, your end was basically done after this point.
That's true. At least you get the consolation prize of one more crack at a guard. Well, now Denmark leaves you a guard, so you might wind up with 2 corners after all.
Do you mind stacking the corner guards and one in front of that one?
That would be an option. You could throw a guard in front of the Danish stone. But in this situation, well, now you are switching gears to go into panic mode.
First final on the board.
7-1 winners over Scotland. Silvana Tiranzoni and her team. That moves them to 4-3.
Evens them with Scotland.
Exactly right. Scotland now dropped to 4-3. So if that goes to a tiebreak on head-to-head record, advantage Switzerland. So that's a huge win for Tiranzoni and company.
And there are no tiebreaker draws.
That's exactly right. So the first tiebreak is based on head-to-head record in the round robin. If that's inconclusive, in other words, if there were 3 teams on the same record and they'd each beaten each other once, then the secondary tiebreak is draw shot distance from the draw shots played prior to the game to determine hammer. So there are no tiebreaker games. So that victory for Switzerland. Get to the business end of the week could be huge. Live look here now, Sweden and Russia. Boy, oh boy, lots of rocks in play. One Swedish stone sitting on the front of the button, but is there a chance here for...
I think they got to try and play the tap to try and get one,
tap,
possibly two.
Maybe two. There's a great look at it in the overhead.
Looks like a B just for one.
It is just for one.
Coming in, both these teams at one loss. Sweden curling 89% as a team. Russia at 80%. And Kovaleva just at 65% herself.
This one's kind of in the game saver category as well.
Oh, bounce it back, stick the yellow.
Oh, she was trying to squeeze and split at the same time.
It's very close.
Sweden thinks it's them.
I thought initially it was going to be red for sure, but it kept sliding.
Anna Hasselborg was quick to claim the point. Anastasia Brizgavla is not so sure they're going to take a long look at it. We'll let you know what the end result was when the players settle on it.
Looking like a measure. They're going to measure that one over on sheet D.
Yep, Brizgavla calling for the measure, so we'll let you know once that score is settled.
See the peel of those guards. Play a little bit around the centers. We went over to show you those updates. It is shot stone for Denmark. The red stone's that one right on the LGT logo.
Yeah, so Japan now I think has to raise the level of risk. So Nakajima is going to draw around the corner guard. In this situation, another alternative might be to come around the center guard again and freeze your own stone directly on nose and line them up.
Trying to get something in there, something they can use.
Sits in the open, so pretty easy picking for Denmark.
Do you want to stick around here, or are you just rolling out here?
No need to stick around here, Luke. Situation for Denmark. Just control the end. In your mind, you're thinking force maximum 2.
There it is.
Sitting in pretty good shape. The reason I like the freeze option coming around sitting on top, just raise the pressure a little bit on Denmark. Coming around these corners, you got to make them perfect, and if you don't, then Denmark just does what they did in the previous shot. Pretty low risk, just hit, peel, roll away. Play the freeze, then you give Madeline Dupont a lot more to think about. Coming around corner. Denmark is always going to deal with it. It's a much better shot, though.
So after the measure,
the fist bumps, and that indicates that it is a steal for Sweden. So they have a handy 6-2 lead in that one. Top of the table clash. Russia came into this game 6-1 and Sweden at 5-1. So Sweden are very aware of that. And they know that a victory would draw them even with Russia and actually put them ahead of Russia. Push Sweden to 6-1, it would drop Russia to 6-2.
Got that one final, and two teams that are liking that result right now. Canada and the USA both sitting at 3 and 4. More teams that fall back to them.
That's right. Right now there are 4 teams on 1 loss. China, Russia, Korea, and Sweden, but the Russians in danger of dropping into a second loss. Just a quiet weight takeout attempt here from Denmark. Almost rounded back to 12 foot.
Very well played, just quietly able to get rid of that one. Nice if you lose the shooter, but it's not hurting you that much at that point.
Yeah, now you got to make a play on that center stone. You got to, still looking at drawing around that corner guard, but again, you're going to be in a situation here where you're not going to be able to make your move. Yeah, that's the call. Don't know that you necessarily have to throw it hard enough to roll your shooter to the wing, though. I think you could just go soft tap, tap straight back. Yeah, board weight, Nakajima is asking for. Don't know if I'd be thinking board weight, I'd be thinking more back line weight.
Well, it looks definitely like quieter weight with that ice for Chiaki Matsumura.
Definitely. Like a heavy draw. Back house. This one's going to be tight to that center guard, though. It's almost on it already, trying to hold the line, but this one's over curling. All over the front. Pushes the Danish stone into the front of the 4-foot.
At least they did move it so there's no stagger of those two stones.
That's true. Would have been nicer for the Japanese had their own stone crept onto the rings, but it's just short.
Den kan jeg godt lide, den der, Matte. Det kan godt være, hun stadig har den. Det kan godt være, den stadig er der, men så må vi trods alt have den her tilbage til at fyre den ned i. Ja.
Evelyn Dupont realizing now that there is a double takeout lined up. She's thinking about corner freezing her own stone, top 12-foot.
Hvad siger du?
It's not a bad
Jeg
shot.
kan godt lide at lukke den gule af, den gule run. Ja, men altså, den her dobbelt er der også. Ja.
Nå, det er herovre, den køler, må det være. Så skal vi nok
She can
herover.
afford to tap her own stone. Maybe a foot.
Altså, der var jo, vi skal på 10. Det virker bare lidt skørt at lægge et skråfryg på vores egen, fordi det på en eller anden måde...
Team Denmark looking for their first win, and good chance here to really choke it off for Japan.
They're going to have a lot to do with who makes the playoffs, whether they can get on a roll or not. They can knock off some teams. They'll play Japan here at 3-3. Then they get Scotland later today, this afternoon. Who's at 4-3 now? They got Korea tomorrow.
Well, you're right, Luke. That's certainly an opportunity to rearrange the leaderboard.
But no easy games.
No.
Past years, there may be teams that they just weren't at the same level, but everyone here, including Denmark, Latvia, Finland, who haven't won a game yet, they're very competitive and pushed a lot of teams.
Yep. Very nice shot there by Dupont. I was having that exact conversation with Japanese coach J.D. Lind yesterday, Luke. And, yeah, he agreed. There's no time for a nap anymore. Maybe 20 years ago, you might have had one or two teams in the field where you think, oh, well, that's pretty much an automatic win, and you can just kind of
go through the motions.
Focus too much and go through the motions and get a W. Those days are gone. Every team here capable on their day of beating everybody else. And there is a look at the standings, and now we see the impact of that Scottish loss dropping them to 4-3, and now Switzerland dead even with them. So Germany is still playing out there against Korea. Germany could get to 4-3, and that would be a real logjam. Remember, 6 teams make the playoffs.
And Canada 2 losses yesterday.
Yeah, tough day at the office for Chelsea Carey.
The U.S. picked up a big win last night over Canada. They sit at 3-4. They're both off this morning. Canadian team, don't normally see them in that position in the standings. They're really fighting it this week so far. Along with the Americans, it's been an up and down game.
Yeah, I feel like the next game for the Canadians is going to be a critical one for them. They get a win, they get back to 4-4, and they're back in the picture. But a loss would drop them to 3-5, and that would be putting them into chasing territory. A lot of teams in front of them.
And they don't have an easy finish either. They have Russia, Sweden, and China all on their...
That's a tough road home.
On their card. But here. Japan needs to come back, find a way to come back in this game.
Yeah.
And try and keep themselves in a good position.
Yeah, Japan's at 3-3, and if they could win this game, they would be right in the playoff
Just
picture.
touches the front.
Yeah, just grazes. Leaves the rock in an interesting place.
Has to be dealt with by Denmark.
Vil du tage den henover?
Alternativt skal vi gøre sådan her.
Ja, det er selvfølgelig rigtigt.
Er det fordi,
As they discuss,
Skal vi tage en timeout?
the big shot was back in that last end.
Yeah, look at this situation. And the DuPont.
Didn't have much else here at this point. They thought you could try and chip it out, but still give a possibility at 3.
Yeah, look at this. Perfect corner freeze and locks the door.
Led to the stolen point.
Yep, that end a 3 or a 4 point swing. That was looking like a possible 3 for the Japanese, and instead Denmark steals.
Hvis jeg skubber til den der bedre end de to der, bare skubber den lige op. Ja. Selv hvis hun laver en triple, så er hendes shooter, så hun vil lave heroverfra. Ja. Så vil den der ligge bedre, ikke? Ja.
Jeg tænker, den er for nemt at blande til at give hende den.
Denmark should be a little careful
Den er
here.
okay nem.
Ja.
Det er hvad hun kan se. Ja,
Jeg kan godt lide den.
Den er okay nem, ja. Altså, jeg vil hellere spille dobbelt, end jeg vil spille den der. Ja. Jeg synes, den der ser svær ud.
Ja. Jeg kan godt lide den der.
Så lad os gøre det.
Can't guard everything.
Ja, lidt hurtigere end før. Måske
Japan's
en
gonna have
fil
some
mere,
kind of a shot.
og så mere. Ja. Altså, fordi jeg skal have lidt mere fart på.
Red double takeout now if you're Japan and get your 2 that way.
Ja, så lige ned som du
Ja.
You've also got a really short tap on the intern side. Tap the stone front forefoot, push the red stone back. You might even get 3 that way.
Den gule derude. Måske er den der til 2. Men om ikke andet, hvis den bliver kort, så er det en guard for dobbelt, og så kan hun lave den.
The kind of shot I think if you have an opportunity to play it near Japan, you have to try it in this situation. Let's see what Madeline DuPont has in her box of magic tricks.
10! Fin retning, wow! 10!
World silver medalist.
Den skal altså have på linjen!
In her past, she's trying to keep things going, get a first win.
Trying to promote her own stone forward. Oh, that's a very nice shot. Very nice shot.
It's the only shot to try and play the triple to try and bring the other 2 yellows into play.
Well, yes, although, you know what? I mean, I think there's still a shot for Japan to chisel their own in and make a double takeout. They can score 2 that way as well. But this is a very nice shot from Madeline. Good line, taps her own stone front forefoot. Denise DuPont and Knudsen on the brushes. I'm just wondering if Nakajima can't see a corner of that target rock. Well, they're not even looking at it. It's going to be the nose triple attempt to try and score 2 here for Ikuya Kitazawa.
Has struggled in the game. Needs one now, not a lick yet. Nothing from the sweepers.
Once again, inside out. Doesn't get the angle, and it is yet another steal for Denmark.
And it is one of those days, nothing going the way of Kitazawa. They miss there, and it is a steal of 1 more. And it looks like the gloves were coming off. It is a final. Denmark with their first win here on home soil. What a win, convincing. 6 of 7 points stolen against Japan. Celebration as they get win number 1. Japan drops a tough game. They'll move to 3-4. Disappointing way to lose this one. They had chances throughout, but Denmark celebrating. What a win for them. Quick to sign that book. Yes, put that one officially in as a 7-1 Denmark win. School kids that are here happy.
Tak.
Well, a couple of finals on the board. Let's look in now. Korea and Germany. 6-4, Korea leading. Playing the 8th end. Germany comes in 3-3, Korea 5-1. Germany trying to bring Korea back to the pack. We are early on here in the 8th end.
Gut, da ist gut. Gut so. Schön. 16-9.
Their lead, Annalena Jentsch.
들어가도 괜찮을 것 같긴 해. 들어갈까? 7. 일곱 여섯. 아닌 것 같아. 앞에서. 약해도 괜찮아. 앞에서 오는 게 낫다. 7 아니다.
So just 2 stones in, that one in the house. The corner guard.
릴리즈 너무 많아. 넷.
Kim Soo-jin.
라인 좋아. 라인 에린이. 에린아 이거 들어와야 돼. 에린아 이거 들어와야 돼. 너. 좀만 더. 샷.
Well, 2 lined up in front of the other. Germany trying to find a way, set up a 2.
백라인.
Still in a not bad spot in a 6-4 game. They can set up a score of 2. In the even ends, try and get a force and then have the hammer playing 10. They have to work to get their 2 first. The younger of the 2 Jentsch sisters playing on this team. 92% on the game for Annalena Jentsch. The tap sit in front.
Good. 살짝만 가도 되지 않아? 범퍼? 아니야, 티야 노말로 가자. 살짝만 가는 게 좋을 것 같은데. 아니면 그냥 아예 해줬어.
Yang Tae, 66% on the game. And we'll nose that one. Clara Hermine Fohm in her first World Championship. 19-year-old. Fit right in on this sheet. It's the whole Korean team, all 19 years of age. Trying to use that corner, need to stick around. And we'll roll off to the side of the house. Doesn't look like much setup, but they have the corner guard too definitely in play right now. Going to the wide side, trying to hold your shooter. Makes the roll side of the forefoot. So lying 2. I even see a freeze now, the way that they're set up. There's a bit of a pocket.
Oder wollen wir nur drauflegen? Aber ich finde eigentlich, bevor wir dann zu viel Gelb haben. Ja. Nochmal so. Fand ich nicht schlecht.
Look over Sweden and Russia. Still battling it out. A lot of stones around the forefoot here. Alina Kovaleva trailing 6-2. Trying to go red into the pocket. And won't quite move it far enough to get that other yellow out. Or the red, pardon me. It's just a single point for Russia. They make it a 6-3 game after 7. They'll give the hammer back to Sweden, and they've been so good with it so far this week. Korea coming in, one loss as well. They know position they're in. Korea's gonna take the extra time to talk this one over.
돌 너무 많이 넣어. 혜린이 마지막이면 빼도 괜찮을 것 같은데. 첫 번째라. 타임 쓰고 갈까? 그래. 타임. 아니 정하고 가자. 타임 쓰고 가자.
See the coach is in behind.
아니 이번에 넘겨도
They have called their timeout. I think with that rollout by Germany.
근데 1점만 줄 수 있으면 1점 주면 10엔드는 편하니까.
Go up, peel the corner guard. My one in the house, force Germany to see if you generate 2 that way.
지금 8엔드잖아.
네.
8엔드니까 넘겨야지 얘들아. 넘기면 얘네들이 블랙 2점을 따도 1점을 딸 거 아니야.
네.
맞지? 3점을 따도 그러면 우리가 10엔드에 후공이잖아.
네.
그럼 우리가 이길 확률이 높잖아. 여기서 무리하게 2점 맞고 계속 그럴 필요가 없어.
그냥 피해라는 게
당연하지.
네.
오케이?
네.
빨리빨리 하고 빨리 빠져야 돼.
네.
우리가 시간 좀 여유 있게 쓸 수 있어.
네. 혜리 차로 갈게. 너 가서 가 있어. 네. 네. 아웃이냐? 혜리 너 아웃한 거? 아웃했나? 네.
Well, Kim Min-ji and her team decision, peel the corner guard.
혜리나 인턴. 바꿨어?
Well, make sure you clear that. That's the one that can cause you the trouble. Get rid of it. Kim Haiji, third stones. Get rid of the corner guard. Well, nicely done. So Korea has used their timeout here. They open up the front. Obviously the freeze here. Mira Abbas. Year-old, just a 57% on the game so far. It's been Danielle Jensch bailing out her team in this matchup so far. 82%. Trying to freeze 2-shot stone, but will bounce off. Now. Decision for Korea. Hit and roll and stick, and you can get a force.
Ich habe halt noch nicht so viel Draws gespielt. 날아가도 괜찮아. 쓰는 것보다. 루미야. 수진. 많이 루미야.
Well, they'll just peel it out. They don't mind even if there is a blank here in this end.
너무 많이 뺐다.
Another effort at this one for Abbas.
Garnick. Whoa, Garnick. Whoa.
Trying to freeze this one to the face. And again, a little bounce off. How long does Korea try and just roll out? Try and hit and stick, get an easy force here. Get the hammer back into the ninth end, up 6-5.
Ja, dann müsst ihr sagen, wow, irgendwas. Sorry. 그냥 여기까지. 안 나가게만 당겨줘.
Well, Kim Min-ji played in 4 World Juniors. Bronze in 2016. Champion of the Pacific Curling Championship. Won the last leg of the Curling World Cup. Coming in 5-1 at the World Championship. And we'll hit and roll out again. So another effort if you want to play that freeze one more time. Give yourself a chance at that 2, or do you try and blank to head to the ninth end?
Ich glaube schon.
I could try one more freeze.
Das ist halt noch ein Stück weiter drüben, gell? Das kann man fast so geben, ja. So.
Meiner war 13-2.
Ja.
Korea has never medaled at a World Women's Curling Championship. This the 40th edition of the championship as well. Germany 8 medals in total, including 2 World Championships,
Läuft die jetzt eher schneller
3
oder
bronze,
ist es jetzt nur, weil sie so schnell war?
3 silver.
Okay. Bei ihrer 13-2 und der war einfach lange. Also, ja. Okay.
Daniela Jentsch, 37-year-old skip.
Platz ist gut, schauen.
Curlen.
Schauen.
Curlen.
Trying to weld this one on.
Curlen.
Playing in her 6th World Championship.
Wow, Curlen.
Clara. Nein, nur Clara. Jetzt.
Nur Männer, Frau.
Wow. Wow.
It's her 5th straight appearance.
Nur Clara.
Nur Clara.
Wow. Nein.
And we'll weld that one on. Nicely done. Daniela Jentsch goes down, puts that one right on the face.
Ja. In der Haus schlafen, in der Haus.
Geh. Kaka 나와줘.
A little bit of an angle, so Kim Min-ji will just look to blast this one out.
Clean, yes.
Make these go away.
Clean, yes. Oh, yes.
Lead to a blank. Germany's hoping they can keep one around. And it goes with ease, rolling it out. Normally you think you blank this one, but down 2. You're looking in the even ends. Even if you blank, you score 2 and 9. You're gonna have to steal in 10. You take 1 here, you get a force 2 to tie. What's your better chance? What's the analytics say? I know a lot of teams are going on that now.
Eben.
I think it is a situation where
Ansonsten
you
müsste man
score.
nachher 2 machen und dann einmal stehlen. Ja, ist halt, entweder wenn wir jetzt einen machen, müssen wir halt 3-mal. Ja, 2-mal.
Wir haben noch 2-1. Aber halt 3.
A long discussion of what you do on this one. It's not whether
Ja, gut, wir haben
of what shot to play. It's if you're trying to score or trying to take one.
Ja.
Coach Uli Kapp
Bitte unser?
has a view.
Sollen wir den einnehmen?
Ich glaube, wir nehmen einen.
Wie immer.
So, ja.
And the reason I say score, Luke, is 5 rock free guard zone. Chance to set 2 corner guards. A 3 is always a possibility if you have a perfectly executed end. So Germany scores. Force Korea 9. Get the hammer back in 10. 2 down. You give yourself a chance to win the game with the hammer.
find out. Broom could have been for either, I think, with the quieter weight. And she's going to play to take her one. As you said, right on the nose. So they will take their single point. Go down 6-5, heading to the ninth end. Korea on top will have the hammer playing 9.
Ja, ich glaube wirklich stehlen.
Ich glaube, das
Vielleicht
ist
eine
auch
größere
eher.
Chance, ja. Ja.
Vor allem, wenn man so scheiße.
Ja. Ja, eben, genau. Wenn wir sie über die locken können, das wäre gut.
Ich fand jetzt im
Ja.
센터로 들어가야 될 것 같긴 해. 사이드? 센터가 있지 않아? 사이드? 센터?
센터로 가면
센터가 될것 같아. 센터 가자, 센터. 왜냐면 지금 점수 딴 거 보면 2개 친다는 소리야.
We continue our coverage of the LGT World Women's Curling Championship. Lukola here, Hans Frauenlob. We're in Silkeborg, Denmark. Session 12, our feature game, Denmark, Japan ended early. As we continue our coverage, we jump over. 6-5, Korea leading Germany. And
Huge game for both teams, it really is.
Germany 3-3 record, Korea 5-1. And Hans, we could talk this one through, have discussion and discussion as many teams and curling fans do, taking 1-8 as we look at Kim Soo-jin's numbers here throughout the game.
Yeah, with the 5-rock free guard zone, it used to be the classic discussion is would you rather be one up with or one up without when you're playing the final end? Well, now it's more of the discussion because of the 5-rock free guard zone is how important is it to control the even ends coming home. You get one extra shot with the hammer. With that one extra free guard zone rock. Team with last rock gets a little bit more attacking advantage, and so there's a little bit more of a premium on having the hammer. Let's have a live look at Sweden and Russia. Another big game here.
Kovaleva rolled out, had a hit to lie 2 and forced Sweden. Now a chance to hit here. Score 2 for Hasselborg.
Well, that might put the game away if the Olympic champion can hit and stick.
Just, they don't allow steals, only 4 steals against. They convert with the hammer.
Well, it's a little panicked on the sweep, and that's why it's a miss for Hasselborg.
Wow. That's
something you don't see very often.
Automatic, you put it in the bank that they're going to make that, she's going to make that hit.
Well, the relieved smile from Kovaleva of Russia. An unlikely steal, and they stay alive. Sweden still very much in the driver's seat, but wow, that one's still going. Seen some twists and turns this morning.
2 games, a final, both the 7-1 score, 6-3 over there. We're 6-5 here now, and we cover Germany and Korea. I know the teams with 4 losses have no control right now, USA and Canada, but got to be sort of thinking, maybe we can get a break. Do you want Germany to lose, or do you want Korea to try and bring more teams back? It's one of those, you probably want the German side to drop knowing that those top 4 are already 3 games ahead of you.
If you're a 3 and 4 team, you're absolutely cheering for Korea here. When you're sitting below 500 at the middle of the week, your goals reset. You're not thinking about getting into the 1-2 stage and going directly to the semi. Now you're just thinking about making the playoffs.
Clara Hermine Fom. If you get to the playoffs, it's similar to a bonspiel you play. You get into the quarterfinals, you got to win 3 straight to win the championship.
Win 3, world champion. Exactly right.
You just have to get there first, as we see the tap back by Fom.
Yep, if you want to be world champion, you got to make the playoffs. Top 2 gives you a bit of an advantage. You avoid 1 game, but anybody in that top 6 can come through the playoff phase and call themselves world champions legitimately. Yang Tae.
Look at the difference there. Low numbers on the draws, but hits solid, and a lot more of them.
Yeah, Tae is such a good hitter and a really strong sweeper as well. Showing us that hitting class.
So 3 around the button, all in the forefoot. 1 center line guard.
Yeah, Korea knows a deuce here probably puts the game away for them. For Germany, it's interesting. It's kind of a situation where stealing 1 isn't great.
So you got to steal again then.
Exactly. Stealing 2 would be great.
It's a fine line between the force or even shot for 2 or 3. You do have the center line guard to try and help do that.
Nice shot here. A little tap pushes behind the tee. A little backstop there now in the back of the forefoot, so Germany doing everything it can. They're setting up for a force and a possible steal. Kim Min-ji.
Great stone placement by the German side right now. Definite advantage, Germany.
This Korean team, I was calling one of their games yesterday with our colleague Sander Rolvek, and he made a very astute comment. Kim Min-ji made a strategy call late in the game that Sander referred to as a really mature call. And I thought that captured it perfectly. They're generally very good shot choices, good percentage shot choices. For a team of 19-year-olds, I'll listen to the panic and the call here. Are they going to get by on the center guard? Are they going to wreck? They can't afford to wreck. They just get it by. Great brushing, squeezes both German stones aside. That is a fantastic shot by Yang Tae.
Well, and how long does Germany keep going to play the quiet, try and keep those around? Because they're not out of it if they give up a 2, but you give up any more than that, then it's virtually all but done. So you look at the great sweep.
Oh, man. Brilliant. Yeah, to answer your question, Luke, I think now Germany's kind of fully committed. That they push stones behind the forefoot, and they're going to try to wedge something in there. Still thinking force.
The struggle in the middle of the lineup a bit for Germany in this game. Fom and Abbas. Fom at 68, Abbas at 56.
Well, all will be forgiven with a couple of nice shots. Again, pushing Korean stones behind the tee. Daniela Jentsch just trying to set something up for her final stone to weld in a freeze and get the force that she's looking for to get the hammer back in 10. And there's an example of a mature tactical decision. Kim Min-ji not panicking. Saying the rock that's gonna hurt us here is the center guard.
Played so many games and it can only help develop. IG.
Kim Hye-rin being asked to kill that center and makes it perfect. So now all the play in the rings. And there's Kim Hye-rin. Lots of stuff behind the tee line for Germany to freeze to. They're going to try to come to that stone that's in the 4-foot. And they like the line. Where's the weight?
Gotta take it back to that one.
Really moving now, though, and it's actually going to over curl. It's front 8-foot. So now Korea, do you shift gears? You're lying one. If you double off the reds, there's jams all over the place. You hit that top one thin, and Kim Min-ji is thinking, yeah, kill two. Red gems are yellow at the back, moves it off the 4-foot, blast everything. Team's going to come in and confer.
Still have plenty of time, about 7 minutes, so no real issue.
You hit that one right about there, hit about a quarter of it. Make the double, go across the top of the stone and the top of the 4-foot.
Is there a triple?
Don't know if there's a triple. I think the top stone will jam, the red stone will probably survive, but might leave Korea line 2 or 3. So let's see if Kim Hye-rin can get some red granite flying. Cut it really thin, maybe too thin.
I'll catch it.
Oh, look at that!
Triple is a possibility. They don't kick the other one fully out, but they lie 4.
Fantastic shot, Kim Hye-rin. Kills 2 German stones. Triple wasn't quite there, but it does push that target rock right out to the side of the 12-foot. Beautiful. Here from overhead, red, red, red. 4 yellow stones remain. Red stone hangs on the edge of the 12-foot.
The only savior for Germany, all those ones behind the tee line?
Yeah. Danielle Jensch, we talked about Germany kind of being committed to the end now. She deliberately pushed those stones to the back of the 4-foot with the hope of being able to freeze to one of them, and so here's the shot.
Hasn't missed with any draw yet this game.
Well, this would be a good time to keep that streak alive. Daniela asking her sweepers to take a look. She thinks they're a bit heavy. Coming down the slide path now, it will stop up.
Just not quite enough. There's a hole now.
Yeah.
Of all spots, you're almost better to bounce a little bit than where she left it.
Yeah. Perfect free is one of the most difficult shots in curling. That one not quite perfect.
얇게 맞으면 상관없어. 만약에 이렇게 맞는 것까지 괜찮은데 괜히 이렇게 쳐버리면 날리고.
쟤 이거 필만 할게. 얇게. 하나만.
Kim Min-ji heads to the delivery end.
하나만 날리는 게 나을 것 같은데. 괜찮을
Even
것
if she
같아.
noses this and loses the stone at the back of the forefoot, probably pretty okay as far as the Koreans are concerned.
Youngster playing above her age.
No kidding. This teamer's 19 years old, folks.
And does it off her own. And will lie 3.
That's a nice shot.
Better that they went off their own than just clean?
Well, you know, now there's only one place that Daniela Jentsch can freeze now, and that's the stone that's on the tee line.
Jeg er ikke klar. Das ist normal. Ja, normalisch glaube ich zu wenig, gell, um sie beide rauszukriegen. Ich glaube, ich komme einfach.
Daniela can afford to push it back maybe an inch.
Einfach, dass beide gehen. Vielleicht den nimmt er, glaube ich,
Any
nicht mit,
gap,
oder?
and you've
Wenn ich
seen
schnell
how
bin.
hard that Kim Min-ji can throw it. If this thing is not locked,
Die Nase, oder? Und gut ist.
Min-ji will just throw some heat and just try to pick it off.
So dann. oder?
Korea doesn't care if they lose 2 or 3 in the process. A deuce would be plenty as far as Korea goes.
Ja, jetzt müssen wir was nehmen.
Ja.
Well, I'm intrigued by the broom placement, Luke.
Trying to bail on the last shot. If you make the double, it's a shot for 2, you're down 3.
Yeah, don't like it.
It's a real opposite shot from the way they were playing the entire end.
Yep.
Daniela Jentsch, though, her last has to make it.
Ho! Ho! Whoa! Whoa! Whoa!
Trying to make the double takeout and doesn't, will jam it.
Ah.
And it's a draw for 2, possibly a little chip for 3.
I think
Not just a
Korea's
straight draw.
Yeah, I think Korea's already lying too. Draw for 3, game over.
이긴 것 같은데?
They do want to make sure that they are second shot, of course.
아 이긴 것 같아. 진짜로? 아 근데 안 이겼어도 어차피 들어. 아니 안 되네.
들어야 돼. 발 봐봐.
이긴 것 같은데?
Yeah, I saw the Japanese in a
일단
similar
들어하고
situation.
메이저 하자.
And there we get a terrific look at it.
인턴 인턴.
Thank you, team. And yeah,
생각하고 잡았다.
it's yellow.
이긴 거.
일단
Korea
들어하고
playing the yellow rocks.
봐.
And as far as I'm concerned, they're lying too. Kim Soo-jin coming in to have a look as well.
Wasn't certain right away,
닦으면서
but
가죠?
obviously that look is,
4초? 예?
shows you pretty conclusive.
좀 죽었어?
There's one more look at it.
It's
Maybe
close.
closer than you think. You'd measure it if you're Germany. Regardless, Korea, you come in this end, you think, okay, take a 2? Yeah, absolutely.
Final shot here of this 9th end.
라인
Germany
좀
elected to
줬다.
take one in 8.
라인 줘봐 웨이트
Try and
봐.
play for the force. Not going to
오고
get it.
있어 수진아 웨이트는 올 것 같아.
Korea with a chance to put the
아니야 올
game
것 같아.
away here.
계속 가. 태희야 태희야 오고 있어. 웨이트
From our feature game, that time would be good. I'm assuming pretty similar here, right next door on sheet B.
샷.
Yep, no problemo there.
And
Right
it
to
is
the
for
tee line.
2.
1-2. Let's see if they're going to measure for the third or whether Germany will concede it. They are asking for the measure. So we get a little extra drama.
And I'll just be opposite. I'll say it's the red.
Okay, Luke.
Because that's, I sort of thought initially, and then swayed by everyone else's motions.
All right. Well, let us know at home, you know. Just send us a quick message. Red or yellow? Which one's closer?
Either way, it's going to be either a 3 or a 4-point lead.
Yeah. Korea is either going to be 3 up or 4 up. Okay, folks, let's play along at home.
건드려도 어차피 노란색이 나가는 거라 일단 더 확인 했어야 돼.
Remember, the camera's not perfectly over these stones. The angle's a little bit different. But
selbst die 2 waren.
the official with the measuring device will let us know for sure. Maybe we can start a chant here in the crowd. Red, red, red. Yellow, yellow, yellow. Okay. Watch the needle. Steady, steady, steady. It's a 2. And watch the needle for the red. It is a Zippo. It's a steal of, or a score of 3.
So it is 3.
And
a
Germany
4-point.
will concede defeat. That'll be the ball game.
So it is a victory for Korea. Pick up another one. They now move to 6-1, right atop the leaderboard. They now join China at the top of the standings.
야, 인사하고.
Team Korea, that moves them to 6 wins. And
Gør der mig gegen Kejser.
not a lock for a playoff spot, but with a single loss right in the frame near the top of the standings. Junior eligible team, 19 years of age, near leading the pack at the World Women's Curling Championships.
Well,
Super impressive.
As we wrapped up ours, session 12 wraps up over on sheet D as well. That was a hit. It looked like for 3 for Sweden. The machine keeps rolling, 9-4. It's a tough locomotive to stop right now.
Yep, Team Anna Hasselborg, the Olympic champions, are on a roll and looking dangerous here at the LGT World Women's Curling Championship.
Feature game here this morning, Denmark winning after 7 over Japan, 7-1 the final. Was Denmark taking on Japan. 6th end, Japan trying to come out to get a chance and really score a big end. Madeline Dupont in Denmark wanted nothing of that. Her last without the hammer. Put it right on the corner. Perfect freeze made. Led to a steal there, and in 7, Madeline Dupont continuing to put the pressure on this. Pressure-packed shot. Pressure on Japan to score multiple points. Dupont plays a nice tap to like 1-2. Ikue Kitazawa has to play this triple takeout to try and bring the other yellows into play. Not doing, and it is a steal and handshakes all around there. Denmark wins game number 1 for them. They knock off Japan. (7-1) the final there on sheet B. We just saw Korea knock off Germany 9-5. Switzerland wins also 7-1 over Scotland. And Sweden beats Russia 9-4 on sheet D, which creates an interesting scenario in the standings. After 12 sessions, China, Korea, Sweden all at 6-1. Russia also on 6 wins, but has a 2nd loss. Then Scotland and Switzerland at 4-3, and Canada, Germany, Japan, and the U.S. under 500 at 3-4. Denmark and Latvia with 1 win, 6 losses. Finland, the lone team without a win so far at the championship.
Madeline, first win for Denmark. Congratulations. Tell us how that one feels.
Feels pretty good, just to get a single win. This morning I was a little afraid that we wouldn't get any, but I think we kept on believing, and the more relaxed we are, the easier it gets.
You made an awesome corner freeze in a situation where your opponent might have been able to get back in the game. What was your thinking process around that shot?
It's a team effort. It's not my shot, it's everyone's, because I just throw it, and when I'm done, it's all up to the others. So I'm just 25%.
And you've played in a lot of these competitions over the years. What's changed over the years in this World Women's Championships?
The others are getting better. We're not getting worse. I think we're just more, maybe a little more of the same, because we don't have the facilities and all the professional things all the others have. So maybe we're just a little bit more of the same as we were 10 years ago. But, you know, everyone else is so professional, so it's just hard to keep up.
Well, congratulations. Well done on your first victory, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you very much.
Well, Madeline Dupont and Denmark get win number 1. Very excited for them. For Hans Frauenlaub, myself, Luke Coley, our entire crew here in Denmark, thanks for watching this session of the LGT World Women's Curling Championship.